Hello, my name is Min Hui Nguyen, and today I will be talking about an electromagnetic railgun. In this picture, you can see an electromagnetic railgun that was developed by BAE Systems. And the way that it works is that it uses electrical currents in order to create a magnetic field. Now, this magnetic field is capable of propelling any projectile through great distances. And the great thing about electromagnetic railgun is that it uses no gunpowder. This makes it so that it is safer to be put on ships, as there are fewer explosives to worry about. It does require a lot of power, as a 20 megawatt power of energy is needed for a small railgun, and a 25 megawatt of energy is required for a slightly larger gun. Now, the parts that are needed to make up a railgun can be dialed down to a set of rails and an armature. Now, the way that it works is that a current would go through the set of rails and be connected as a full circuit by an armature. And the armature is important because it is what is required to propel the projectile. Now, the whole contraption is powered by a power source, and as you can see from the last slide, it requires a big amount of power source. This means that a ship would require a nuclear reactor or a really big generator in order to use such a gun. Right now, the magnetic field generated from the currents going through the rails is abiding by the right hand rule, which means that when a direction of a current is going in one direction, it induces a magnetic field going to rotate at a counterclockwise direction. Now, this magnetic field in total creates what is known as a Lorentz force. Now, Lorentz force was first developed by Hendrik Lorentz, and it works by a magnetic field that would have a direction in this, as well as a current going into this direction. The force resulted from both of these components is what propels the projectile outside of the rail. And the math works as F equals to the force, and what is required is an external electric field, an electric charge, velocity, and a magnetic field. This is the summary of what and how a Lorentz force is enacted on the railgun. There are some key drawbacks to a railgun like this, and some of it contributes to the amount of heat that it produces. Since 20 to 25 megawatts of energy is created, it means that every shot that it makes, it is constantly trying to tear itself apart. What you see here is actually resemblance of a piece of the railgun itself. As the projectile gets really hot, it is constantly melting the rails that was housing it. And right now, the limit that it can take as in shots would be 6 to 8 before the railgun is completely destroyed. There are some hopeful notes, as it can be used for space travel as well as more of a fictional side to be Earth protectors. Now, this concept would require railguns being orbited in space to destroy any incoming asteroids coming to Earth. But a more practical application would be space travel. Right now, it is really expensive to launch any rockets into space because of the amount of fuel that it needs to take off from land. But if we give it the initial momentum or boost that it needs, it will be able to go to a certain altitude and conserve the fuel that needs to break into space. This can increase the amount of distance that a space mission can require, and for any future missions such as Mars or beyond. Thank you, and this is my references.